Right then, let's move on to another story. Actually, this one only came out, I think it was like 10 minutes before you got here. It's from Lyle Thomas of Sky Sports. It says, exclusive, Brighton and Borussia Dortmund are among the clubs keeping tabs on Harvey Elliott, with his lack of minutes under Arne Slot alerting Premier League and Bundesliga clubs to monitor his future over the next 2 transfer windows. That's from Lyle's report, and he's put that on Twitter and social media. Obviously, Harvey Elliott and his lack of minutes is definitely something that I think more people are starting to notice as the season's gone. Obviously, he had the injury, so he was out for a while. So before the injury, he wasn't really featured, got the injury, come back, and it's kind of been the same. He got the Southampton game where I think he might have got man of the match, but we haven't seen too much of Harvey Elliott. Yesterday, for example, doesn't come on in a game where Liverpool perhaps, Szoboszlai's out with illness. It felt like maybe a little refresh in midfield could have been an option, even off the bench. Didn't see nothing of him. So, yeah, and today now there's reports linking him with moves away. What's your assessment of where we're at with Harvey Elliott?
Yeah, it's a really interesting one. This, like you say, it only sort of broke, didn't it, as just before we were recording. So I haven't had a chance to sort of speak to anyone around it as to whether these clubs are genuinely interested, and maybe Harvey is starting to get a bit frustrated. I don't know. I was surprised he didn't come on last night, because I didn't think Curtis had his best game, and obviously there was no Szoboszlai, who, as an aside, I think the last 2 games have really shown how important Szoboszlai is to the overall sort of plan. With Liverpool struggling to sort of create anything, I thought Elliott could have been something different off the bench. His close control, his ability to pick a pass, and maybe even his long distance shooting, which he's done that before against Spurs, hasn't he? So I was a bit surprised he wasn't brought on there. The injury was frustrating. I spoke to him about it after West Ham, and he said it was one of those that just got worse and worse. He initially wasn't too concerned about it and was targeting a bit of an early comeback, but it just sort of went on, and it was best part of 3 months really between, I think he got a few minutes against Brentford. Was it Brentford or Bournemouth? In August. Brentford, yeah. So he got a few minutes at the end of that game in August, and then I think his next Premier League minutes came
Man City.
Yeah, so that's, what's that, 2 or 3 months, and he's yet to really push on since he's come back. So yeah, I could maybe understand it from his perspective if there is a little bit of agitation there, frustration. I'd be surprised if Liverpool are looking to outwardly do a deal, and there are talks ongoing around that, because I think he's still one of the youngest in the squad. He's got a number of years of experience, and he's a real exciting prospect for now and the future. But yeah, it just feels like he could do a little run in the team, couldn't it? Starting with Saturday, maybe give Slot something to think about, albeit against League 2 opposition, a team who was struggling in League 2. But yeah, I just feel like now's a chance to get some minutes under your belt, show the manager a bit more what you can do, and then hopefully he's a bit more in the thinking going forward. Don't think he'll feature prominently against Nottingham Forest, particularly if Szoboszlai's back, but maybe over the next few weeks, with all the games coming thick and fast, he can get on the pitch a bit more.
It's worth mentioning, like I say, I clarify, he has had the injury. We know he had a broken foot, he was out for a while, but in total he's played 147 minutes of action over 9 games. He's made 7 Premier League appearances, total on a grand total of 43 minutes worth of action.
I'm even surprised there's that many, really.
He just hasn't had a look in it. Well, if I show you why, he's had, in the last few weeks, he come on for 10 minutes against Fulham in the 2-2 draw, 11 minutes, 3 minutes against Tottenham, a minute against Leicester, 16 minutes against West Ham, 4 minutes against Man United. Like, we just haven't seen him, and he has been available. That's the difference. Like, I understand the broken foot, and maybe he's working his way back. And listen, most of Liverpool's midfield players have played well as well. It's worth mentioning, up until recently, they've all been in good nick. But I always get a little bit, I don't know, when you see stories like this, I always wonder where they're coming from. Like, is this an agent or the Elliott camp trying to put out there, listen, just don't forget about me, I'm blah, 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 blah. Is there actual interest? I don't know, because, I guess that's my question. This feels like, I can't see why Liverpool would have this out there. It feels like is this the Elliott camp maybe just testing a few waters?
Yeah, I think there is a little bit of, maybe frustration's too strong a word, but a little bit of consternation about, what's happening at the moment. Because I think, looking back to pre-season, Elliott was one of the stars of pre-season, wasn't he? Sort of played in the number 10, played as sort of 2 number 10s in the... Was it Betis? The Real Betis friendly, and then plays against Arsenal as the number 10 and has a great game, couple of brilliant assists, and then looks like him and Szoboszlai are going to sort of take the mantle and duel it out for the number 10 position. Gets the foot injury, and then it's been slow progress ever since, hasn't it? And that was a while ago now, really. That was in August. So, yeah, like I say, he could just do with getting some minutes under his belt and showing the manager that he's still there and what he can contribute.
I suppose as well, like, I'm trying to, the best way to put this, like, sometimes when a new manager comes in, certain players benefit and certain players don't. And it feels like at this moment, again, for example, Lautaro Endo, it probably hasn't benefited. He isn't exactly what Arne Slot wants compared to what Jurgen Klopp wanted, for example. This time last year, Endo was in the team playing pretty much every game. You could say the same about Harvey Elliott. More often than not, he was playing and he was in the team, whereas someone, for example, like a Ryan Gravenberch has more than benefited. He is now a mainstay, he's one of the first names on the team sheet. Again, this turnover of squad, because we spoke earlier on the previous conversation, like, the almost idea that it was going to be very seamless between Slot and Klopp, but actually there are some examples where it's not that. If it was going to be seamless, Harvey Elliott, he was a mainstay in the team. He was ahead of, he was probably ahead of Szoboszlai at certain points. He was playing tons and tons of footy. Is this just a case of, again, I don't know if this is just he doesn't fit what Arne Slot wants. Is it other people are playing better than him? Because there's a reason somewhere. He isn't getting picked for a reason. Yeah, no, there's a few reasons why, isn't there, really? Obviously, it stems back from the injury and then the form of others, Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones. But also looking back when Klopp's midfield was very much a workhorse midfield, wasn't it? And Elliott was sort of the right of the 2 number 8s, if you like, whereas Slot sort of plays with a bit more of an orthodox number 10. Now, I think Harvey Elliott is perfectly suited for that. I think his touch, his close control, his ability to pick a pass, and his shooting from distance, which has massively improved. I know it's something he's worked on. They're all good skill sets to have, in your arsenal as a number 10. But he hasn't really had a chance to show it, has he? And I know it's been difficult for Slot to get in the game time because every Premier League game is huge now, and Liverpool are looking like doing something really serious. So you can't maybe afford to get a look at a player who you don't really know too much about, and you need to go with the players who you trust. I know we got asked about it actually, Slot, after before one of the games recently about Elliott and Chiesa. It was almost like, is the upcoming fixtures a good chance for both of those, and why haven't they featured? And he said something along the lines of, I essentially need to go with the lads who I can trust because he's seen more than them, and I guess that's fair enough, but you can still give Elliott a little bit more of a go and see, and he'll show you why you'll be able to trust him a bit more going forward. So yeah, really interesting one, this link. A little bit of a surprise, but delving into the numbers like we have here, you can see why there might be a little bit of agitation there. Yeah, he played, like I say, in total he played 53 games last year, loads of them, 34 Premier League games, he featured all the time. Granted, again, he has been injured, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. I think, again, I don't know the validity of, and even what Liverpool's stance would be if one of these clubs came in with a bid, for example. I don't know exactly where Liverpool would stand, but like, for a lad who's 21, has played 128 games for Liverpool were asking for £30 million for Ben Doak.
Yeah.
Can you even begin to imagine what Liverpool would want for Harvey Elliott? At least double it. Yeah. Like, it feels like if anyone's going to want to buy Harvey Elliott out for Liverpool, they're going to have to stump up a significant fee.
Yeah, and then you look at Borussia Dortmund, who don't typically tend to pay that sort of fee because it's, the money's not there in the Bundesliga. Would Brighton sanction a club record deal for someone like Harvey Elliott? It seems like he's maybe not as explosive enough for that to happen, if that makes sense. You're looking at £60 million for a club like Brighton, and you are wanting a sort of elite end attacker who might go on to one day play for Liverpool or Real Madrid or someone. So yeah, I couldn't imagine what sort of number Liverpool would look for if they were to sell Harvey Elliott, and it certainly would be above what Dortmund and Brighton looking to pay, I guess.
Yeah, you think so? Rutter's, Brighton's record transfer, they paid
40
40 million quid for him. So Liverpool want more than that. I say Liverpool, the one thing we do know is that when they sell players, like let's look at what they got for Sepp Vandenberg, Fabio Carvalho, what the reportedly putting a price tag out on Ben Doak said. Now Harvey Elliott, miles in terms of seniority at Liverpool. He's played 128 games. He's featured regularly. I can't begin to imagine. Yeah, like those type of clubs, with all due respect, are the ones that Liverpool will be selling to. I think it'd have to be someone with significantly deeper pockets than that.
Yeah, and you look at Liverpool always sort of weigh it up in terms of similar transfers when they look to sell players. But is there a similar transfer of a young, was he 22 now? 22-year-old who's played well over 100 games in the Premier League for a club like Liverpool moving? There's no sort of precedent for that, is there, to judge against? So I've got absolutely no idea what the number would be if they were asked, how much for Harvey Elliott. So we'll see what happens. But I do know that there's a little bit of agitation from the lack of minutes. But I don't think it's enough for him to be looking to move, particularly a boy at Liverpool who absolutely loves the club. Yeah,
absolutely. And I'd be shocked if it was this month. But yeah, going forward, this always happens when you change managers. Certain things just surprise you. Like why is he being sold?
Yeah, it's been a bit lost in the shuffle, hasn't it? This one.
I like him. I think he's fantastic. I think he's wonderful. I think if he played the next 10 games, I don't think he'd let anybody down, because he doesn't let Liverpool down. But like I say, I go back to it. Is the reason the manager isn't picking him because he thinks he's rubbish, he's not suited, or actually Szoboszlai, Jones, McAllister have all been really good, or up until maybe a little dip over the last couple of days, maybe. We don't know, but yeah, it's always interesting when these stories come out. I was thinking, whose benefit is this? And actually, I don't know, maybe it's Harvey Elliott's benefit rather than Brighton, Dortmund, or Liverpool's, I guess.
Yeah, no, true. It's maybe a little bit of a reminder that, like you say, I'm here and I'm looking for a game somewhere. Might be one to sort of put a slot tomorrow in his press conference. Certainly more general what is going on with Elliott's situation. Be interesting to know a bit more, what he was sort of talking about recently, where he's saying that he needs the players who he can trust, and he can trust Szoboszlai and Jones more because they've been fit, so he's been able to view them more and stuff. But I think certainly on Saturday lunchtime it's nailed on for Harvey Elliott to go and play 90 minutes and go and show that you're still a useful player in this midfield.
I think there's a chance he might be the captain. Never mind playing. If you look at the seniority, Endo maybe, I don't know.
He'd love that as well, be captain.
Captain Liverpool even for a day. I think it'd be fantastic for him. He's probably going to be the player with the most appearances, I think, in that Liverpool side. That is for sure.